Good morning. I'm Jennifer Schenker, founder and editor-in-chief of the Innovator, a publication that connects startups with business and helps business understand how technology will impact them. It is my great pleasure to welcome here today Dr. Dorit, the CTO of Checkpoint. Dorit, I can't think of anyone more qualified to talk about cybersecurity. She won the Israel National Defense Award in 1993 and has been with Checkpoint since the inception in 1995. It's been quite a ride. Tell us a little bit about Checkpoint and how big the company has grown over the many years you've been there.
Thank you for inviting me. Checkpoint was founded in '93, actually. I joined Checkpoint in '95 when we were about 15 people. Since then, I managed the R&D and products, different businesses. We were traded in the NASDAQ since '96, and we are one of the more profitable companies. Today, it's kind of nice to say profitable. It's not always good. And one of the things we do is we protect our clients. When we mean cybersecurity, we mean stopping the attacks. This is not trivial. Many are talking about notifying you when you are attacked. We are stopping attacks, so prevention for us is a key. And we serve huge customers all the way to consumers. And so while being here in Checkpoint 28 years, I met large companies, small startups, customers of all sizes, and I was able to see the market evolution and the technology trends through the lens of many different population in the industry, the clients, the developers, the vendors, the large, the small, etc. So it's very interesting.
So today the company is worth?
Around 20, depends on the day, between 17 and 20 billion.
Okay, so it's been quite a ride. As you've said, you've seen an evolution of the cybersecurity industry. Today, we're looking at the intersection of AI and cybersecurity. What excites you about AI?
Yeah, so I think I was young when the previous evolution started of all kind of the internet and mobile and connectivity, etc. And in retrospect, I could definitely see how much it changed things beyond what we could imagine initially. So initially, you have this imagination on how things will change, but it evolves differently. New business models, new technologies, new things that could only be built by multiple building blocks that were acquired in the previous build-up. So with AI, I could see how the world transforms itself again. I think the most exciting things about AI are the things we don't know yet, are the fact that we could look at the problem and understand that there are going to be more challenges and more opportunities, and some spaces will evolve in a way we can't predict today.
So it's a little bit like, back in the very first days of the internet, where people really could not imagine what we would be able to do with it and how it will change our life.
Yeah, I used Mosaic in the 90s, and I joined Checkpoint in '95 to secure the internet. It was very small space back then. I couldn't imagine what we would end up doing with the new modeling of connectivity and everything reachable, peer-to-peer, gig economy, all kind of business models. There are no more many devices, cameras, recorders, everything is in my phone. I don't carry a wallet anymore. All these things are very fundamental things that changed on how we operate our life that we were not necessarily predicting in 1993.
Sure. So what do you see as AI's impact on cybersecurity?
Yeah. So I get to ask about it often, and I split my view into 3 pillars. Pillar number 1 is how the attackers are going to use AI. Because everybody is going to use AI and already uses AI, so the attackers as well, and we could talk about this. Pillar number 2 is how defenders will use AI in order to defend against anything. The regular attacks, the ransomware attacks, the fraud attacks, and anything, how we protect the world better using AI. And the third pillar is how should we protect the AI that we use? There is a new thing now in organization. People have more data. People use new types of application called AI, and many new problems were created that we need to defend them. So one is the attacker, one is the defender, and one is how we as an organization are going to defend our AI. And each one of them has very different parameters.
Well, so let's take a minute to talk about the attackers. So just in the last couple of weeks, there have been a lot of stories in the news. Most of you probably heard about the businessman in Hong Kong who was convinced to wire $25 million of his company's money after seeing a video of who he thought was the chief financial officer of the company and several of his colleagues. It turned out to be Gen AI-powered deep fakes, and the company was out this $25 million. We also saw Microsoft announce that they had caught hackers, state-sponsored hackers, from North Korea, China, and Russia using generative AI. Now, Check Point already signaled that this was an issue over a year ago. How are the bad actors using this, and what should we be worried about?
So first, this is not new. North Korea, known to establish an institute for AI in 2013 in collaboration with industry and China, and they are known to use AI in their attacks. Recent report from South Korea say that they use Gen AI specifically to find interesting targets. There are a collection of Russian as-a-service malware servicing services that are publishing their own use of AI as kind of a key selling for their service. And we have many other reports like this. But why is it scary? It's not just because one fraud or one deepfake. The thing that you could do with AI, you could automate everything that you could do before, you could make it more efficient, and you could operate it in a higher scale, so you could do a mass campaign. Now, on the other side, you could be much more targeted because you could have somebody that research many, many people and make it very targeted on them, on their behavior, on their looks. And it could be also targeted to the defenses that they use. So you combine the targeting with the scale and automation and accuracy of attack, and you get mass campaigns. Because if before they wanted to attack Jennifer, they could have researched you and built an attack against you. This is nothing new. But at scale, when they could do it in the masses to everybody in the room, in a very high accuracy, combining the research and the automation, and at some point, maybe even inventing new flows of attacks that we couldn't think of. That's the scary part.
So, if I understand you correctly, it's they're going to continue doing the kind of attacks they're doing, but with AI, it's kind of like on steroids and at scale. So we're going to see more massive attacks.
More massive attacks that are very accurate. Before, we had two types of things: very accurate, very pinpointed, or massive attack, kind of DDoS, but kind of flowing. Here, they would be able to combine. It would be massive attack of very accurate attacks, which is more scary.
So what can we do to defend against this? Because it works both ways, right?
Yeah.
The AI can also help power the defenses.
So I think the question is a bit skewed. What we have to answer, there are two things: how we defend against this, and what could we use AI to defend. How could we defend against this? This is, if it's saving the same form of attack, it's just more massive and more accurate. It's not like before we didn't want to defend against massive and accurate. So we kind of need to be much more timely, much more massively in our protection. And for that, we need prevention. If we want to, in retrospect, to respond to all these things, we will fail. We need to prevent, on day one, massive, very accurate attacks. We needed to prevent them before, too, but now the motivation is clearer. That's a bit separate from the question how we could use AI to prevent. And to, so we could use AI to prevent by being more effective, using it as a force multiplier, automation, remediation, processes, hunting, etc. And we could use AI for precision, using deep learning with a lot of data to make our understanding much more predictive and much more accurate to improve our prevention. We could also use AI in order to be more explanatory, to give our information to wider audience, to our executives, to our boards, to our clients, to the employees, to educate them better on what they need or not need to do. The conversational aspect of Gen AI is going to make it more easy to use defense tools in different audience than it is today. So we have a lot to do with defenses, but the main thing we have to defend these attackers is prevention, which is a bit side.
Now, with AI, there's more to think about than just cybersecurity issues.
Yes.
So for the corporates in the audience, you know, what else do they need to be thinking about when they're using AI as part of their defense and their strategy?
So I'll be very brief because we have short time. So first, there is data. You start to collect more data, you put all your data together, access to the data and leakage of this data become more severe issues. You now use AI. To use AI with Gen AI, you use something that calls prompting. Prompting is like our interview here. You prompt me to say things you want. That's prompting the Gen AI. But the malicious people will try to prompt me to say things I don't want to say or to reveal secret I don't want to reveal. And that's prompt injection. So prompt injection is getting the AI to do and to reveal the things you didn't want them to reveal and also poison the data that AI uses. So these are new fronts, protecting the data at its mass and protecting new usages that come through the AI usage. These are new fronts that we will need to protect against. And then there are fundamental issues about AI alignment that we could discuss. Do you want to discuss them?
Yeah.
Okay, so AI has no personality. It learned a lot of data. Maybe I'm your friend. I know your personality. I'm willing to be your friend because I know what answers you will give me. With AI, there are many biases, and what is helpful and harmless is questionable. Some people would think that something is a proper answer, and some people would think that it's not. So we want the AI to be aligned to our culture and personality and way of living. But who decides what's an aligned AI? Is it like the government is going to tell us what's aligned, or are these the big, giant companies that own the AI agents?
Hopefully not.
And even more so if the AI goes to real-life protection in real time, like autonomous driving or medicine, like surgery, etc., then the AI has to decide in real time real-life threatening decisions. So what is aligned at that point in time? What's legitimate decision? How much risk it will take? Who decide that is a big question. And what is the data that we allow to teach it? How much is it gender-based? How much is it culture-based? Different languages, different behavior. These are all very deep questions that are not resolved yet. In addition, by teaching it data, we have the right to be forgotten, especially in Europe here, with GDPR. If I prove that an LLM has my data and has my details, how do we exercise the right to be forgotten? It's like asking you to forget we ever met. You know, you could tell me you forgot, but how do I know for sure? So there are many problems, from biases, from alignment, not to speak about, you know, how much we are willing to give it the keys to the kingdom, like how much we are letting it operate our life and make decisions that are autonomous and kind of generic intelligence decisions.
So clearly, you know, AI is something that is not just the domain of the CTO. The C-suite has to be involved. It has to be an integral part of the business strategy. And really tough questions need to be asked about which kinds of checks and balances need to be put in place, and also about regulatory compliance.
Yes, it's also intellectual properties, and it's also like understanding the society, because some of the questions I asked are not going to be solved by just one company. Yeah. The society have to come to terms. Maybe there would be a layer, a real-time layer of alliance, kind of security layer, that you'll plug in your preferred security layer and I will plug in mine, because we don't have the same expectations. Because we are not willing for it to be the giants or the governments that would decide for us what's right and wrong. So there is going to be a need for new types of solutions that are even going beyond what corporates and companies could do by themselves.
So I think that's a perfect segue into our last question, which is basically we are in this period of change. What sort of opportunities does that present for the startups here in this room?
I think that the biggest thing, I mean, we could all take it as a force multiplier and do better what we do today. But we need to understand that at some point in time, somebody will invent a new model to use it and will kind of pull the rug beneath our legs. And we'll do it in a different way. So let's say I did the best customer service with the best experience, the best automation, but I did it as it's done today. And somebody brings in a completely new idea on how to do it that is different than the way it's done today. This is an opportunity for a startup to bring these ideas into play. So one opportunity is to leverage the right today, use it as a force multiplier, and reinvent things that exist in a much more efficient and direct and kind of fruitful way. And the other challenge for startup is to find the reinventions way that we could use this AI and use it in a different, completely different way than it's used today.
Okay, well, with that, I would like to ask the audience to please give a nice round of applause for Dr. Dorit Dor.
Thank you very much.